Lund Boats proudly presents the ultimate fishing experience. This week on Lund's The Ultimate Fishing Experience, we're heading to massive Lake of the Woods out of Kenora, Ontario. With 1 million acres to fish and over 14,000 islands to fish around, Lake of the Woods is a fisherman's paradise, famous for its monstrous muskies, acrobatic smallmouth bass, and bulldogging lake trout. It's the school of walleyes that brings Lund's special event coordinator Ryan Sproule and pro staffer Roger Stearns to these pristine waters. Ryan and Roger have years of experience fishing Lake of the Woods, accumulating a treasure trove of knowledge on how to find walleyes and some of the best presentations to catch them.
Boat control, you forgot.
And boat control.
Boys, you got a good one? Right on.
That will help you on your next walleye outing.
They're out fishing me though. I gotta smarten up here. Here you go.
Thanks, buddy.
I'm Roger Stearns. I'm out here today with my good buddy Ryan Sproule. We're heading out on Lake of the Woods to chase some walleyes today. Our favorite body of water and our favorite species of fish.
Should be a good time, buddy. You know what? Let's go fish some humps and let's go fish some shoreline islands. Let's do it.
So what do you feel like doing today, Ryan?
Well, you know what? We're middle of August here. The summer season's starting to slow down here. You know, temperatures are on the water is like 72 degrees. I think, you know, I really think the best thing would be to do is, you know, check some of the islands. There's going to be a lot of fish sitting on the humps, but also another way to find some of these fish that haven't been pressured a whole lot is fishing some shorelines. So
we'll head out there and see what we see on the electronics and how they're positioned, and that'll tell us how to fish. If they're spread out, we'll just pull some bouncers and spinning glows and maybe some slow death. And if we hit a pack of fish all schooled up, we can drop some jigs on them.
Yep.
Lake of the Woods is famous for September switching over to the crawler bite. So we've got both in the boat, so we're set to get some nice walleyes. So we're setting up here on a big flat. The wind came up today. It's an ideal location for looking for moving fish over the flat. And what I usually do is watch my electronics. I'll set up the trail running, and as I go, I just mark individual fish, and I can always get back on that trail and go right back through those fish. Important to keep track of how close together they are. It dictates your presentation. We're going to start out here fishing horizontal, I mean by pulling bouncers, and if they end up, we find a big group of them, we can always drop down some jigs on them. There's these kickers on these tiller boats, they're just ideal for this style of fishing. You can hem back and forth over any waypoints. Just stay on your trail. You can make an adjustment, throw it in neutral, drift back down the line, back into reverse, and you're always...
That's a big deal, especially, you know, when you get a bit of a breeze like this. You know, you can definitely back troll with the electric motor, but the 9.9 just, it's stronger and is able to hold us in our spot a whole lot easier to, you know, follow a line. So
there they are. They're on the screen. 1, 2, 3 of them. It's nice seeing them a little bit off bottom. That tells you that the fish are active. So
there we go. There's a good one. He's still sitting right on bottom. Maybe a low 20. He's coming up nice now. Oh yeah. Good head shakes. Feels good.
Oh, nice fish. There you go. That's a nice one.
Lake of the Woods Gold. Looks good.
There you go, buddy.
Nice little fish. 20 inches or so.
Yeah. You had a crawler on that rig, eh?
That was just on a crawler on a spinning reel.
Oh, yeah.
Orange and gold. Looks good. Let her go back.
See, we changed our angle a little bit that time, how I said.
Yeah.
Because we had marked some fish and we seemed to, they didn't want to bite going with the current and the wind, and we were going a little bit crosswind, and that guy picked it up.
Pretty quick, yeah. No, it felt good.
A well-known and generally true adage is that 90% of the fish live in 10% of the water. This makes scanning with your electronics a much more efficient way of finding fish than with a lure. Cutting-edge electronics like Nuances Carbon series come loaded with fish-finding technology. Today, I'm using split-screen mapping and 2D sonar. When I mark a group of fish, I drop a waypoint and then return to the spot so I'm fishing fish, not vacant water. Nuances Structure Scan 3D further enhances your search by producing highly detailed 3D readouts of the structure below. Boat control is made easy with Minn Kota's GPS-enabled Altera. Simply spot lock on top of the fish, and the trolling motor handles the rest. So take the approach of finding fish first, then fishing. You'll be amazed at the outcome.
Nice mid-leg structure fish.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Mercury Marine. Go boldly.
There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Nice. Oh yeah, this feels good, boys.
You got a good one? Right on. So we're just drifting here, Ryan.
Yeah, this one's bulldogging nice. I like it. There we go. Back her up for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nice fish. Look at that baby.
That one's getting some shoulders on them. They keep getting bigger.
Beautiful fish.
Look at that. These fish are healthy. You know, there was a period there between the smelt crashed and the fish were quite skinny, but notice this year that these fish are getting shoulders on them. They're nice, healthy fish.
Yeah, you know, for 23 inches, 24 inches, it's got a couple pounds on it. Nice big fish. I'll take it right now. That's great. Yeah.
Right on. Way to go. You're out fishing me, though. I got to smarten up here. That's a nice one. I'll just drop another waypoint and I'll connect the dots to those fish. We've been marking some fish here, and I've dropped 3-4 waypoints just to keep track of them. And we had been going in one direction up into the wind, drift back a bit with the wind, just maintaining the speed that we had wanted. And we marked about 3-4 fish, and we just had some light pickups, and they were gone. So I always like to change the angle of my approach to them. I can't say which direction these fish are going 100%, but by changing it 90 degrees, are they taking the opportunity that they don't have as much time to react to the bait when it's going across their vision, instead of if they're tracking it going with them or into their face? And
that's exactly it too, because as soon as you change the angle, we pop 2 fish in the first pass. So
yeah.
So obviously right now, that's obviously that presentation right now is changing that bite right now, because they're not even pecking at them right now. They're actually taking these baits right away. So
yeah, they're whacking it.
Yep.
Eat now or let it go by. So every day when I come out, I automatically change my trail color. So I can see where I was fishing the day before or my last trip. And I don't want those trails to get mixed in with each other. There's 60, 70 waypoints just on one spot. You want to take the opportunity to fish as efficiently as you can, so that you're on those fish, you stay on those fish, and then you can look at your other trails. Maybe the fish are gone. You can look at your other trails and look for where they're concentrated, because you'd been circling over fish there on a previous visit. So that's like a fish holding spot. They start to show themselves with all your trails, but it makes for at times a bit of a cluttered screen, but to me that's a small price to pay for getting on a bunch of fish. Fish, big one.
there we go.
I got our motor running here, Ryan. You wanna?
You're neutral.
Did you throw it?
Yep, it's a neutral. How's it feel?
It feels like a nice one. You stand down. drifting the boat over them.
Want me to turn back on this or what?
No, I don't think so.
I see the bouncer.
See the bouncer? I think this is our biggest fish of the day. Gonna feather him a bit of drag.
There we go, nice.
Nice fish. Look at that. That's the subtle thing we did. We were looking for fish on the screen. We were about to go look for some others and we marked this guy.
Okay.
And we just backed in about 15 feet after we marked him. And we hooked up right away. Nice fish. A nice healthy Lake of the Woods walleye. We'll get them back in the water here. A neat trick on these Nuances is I'll get on the spot and I'll zoom in as far as it can go. So I know by the scale, and a lot of people don't bother zooming in, but when you look at the scale on the unit, 1 inch when you're zoomed in is only 20 feet. So your waypoint symbol is actually taking up 7-8 feet of that 20 feet. So if I'm missing a waypoint on the way by, I can actually say to my partner in the boat, the fish is on your side, and he's the one that ends up getting hooked up. Well, Ryan's got a fish.
This one's not going to be that big, but we got another one here.
I'll get the net. Ooh, got a little bit of attitude.
With a spunk. Yeah.
Oh, oh.
How it goes, fellas.
I need a new partner. Mike, you want to grab a rod?
Well, I met Roger probably about 9-10 years ago on Lake Winnipeg while I was ice fishing. He was nice enough to throw me a couple of tips there, just on location and presentation. Over the course of a couple of years there, Roger started helping me out with the Angler Young Angler Ice Fishing Derby. Started helping out with some tournaments, and we eventually put him on our pro staff, which was a great benefit for all of us here at Lund. But over the years, we became pretty good friends too, and fished a lot of tournaments together. Done pretty well in a few events together.
Best boat control you forgot. Come on.
Oh, I'm not even throwing you that bone.
Get ready, Ryan. There's a few more fish right here. I'll mark this guy. Ooh, and another one.
Look at that. 3.
3 of them. I know by looking at this screen that when I'm tracking a fish across the screen, when they go off the screen, is when my lures are getting right in their face. If you pay attention to that when you're always marking fish, you'll know you really need to be ready, right?
Yeah.
We had 3 fish there and they never bit, so
Let's go right back over top of them now.
I'm just going to put it in neutral, and we might go off. I'll give it a little shot of speed here to get us orientated right. And once we get past where we marked them, then I'm just going to cut right across them, pull right in that way. There's the one coming onto the screen there. Speed up a bit and get him to take it. Yeah, there he is. Hold that pressure on, make sure you drive the hook into its mouth. Some guys, they start reeling too fast. There's nothing wrong with dragging that fish for 5-6 feet.
We pop her neutral, Rog?
Yeah.
Okay.
This guy's staying down here. Ooh, there, he released. He released. Coming up quicker now. Coming up quick. You drag, you get them, pop them above. You hook these fish, and it's sort of weird. Like when they're within 3 feet of the bottom, it's just like they're sort of hard to move, no matter how big they are. This isn't a big fish, but to pop them, and all of a sudden it just shoots up.
You want a picture with that one there, big fella?
The muskie bit him on the way in. That's why he was heavy. Look at him. It's all fresh. That's why it was heavier.
There you go.
I'm not making things up. I felt a heavy fish.
A little probably need some pliers for this guy. Yeah, so basically what we're doing today is it's a real simple setup. I have a 6'8" medium fast action rod, bait caster reel just with the auto flip so I can easily let out more line if we're fishing deeper water. A no stretch stealth 17-pound braid and a 6-pound monofilament leader. And you know, the rig is really simple. I have a wing it bottom bouncer. You can change your weights just by pulling this thing off the rubber tube. And you're going to run, you know, about a 24 to 30 inch snell with a small wide gap hook and a spin and glow floater, which, look at these floaters, it keeps your bait off the rocks. It's really simple to, you know, for anybody to take this technique, especially with young kids. You know, pretty much all you have to do is just drag it over the bottom. You're not going to get snagged up, hooked up, and you're going to be dragging your bait right in front of the fish's face. So it's been working really well for us today, so I love it.
Our baits are always in the water. The only time they're out of the water is when they're in the fish's mouth and we're rebaiting. So you spend 90% of your time with your bait actually fishing. Coming up now. There he is. Yeah. Nice fish.
Oh, I got one on too, buddy. It's probably right around the same size. I'd say so, yeah.
Ooh, another bass. We're catching everything today there,
got
buddy.
a program going here, yeah. You know, the only problem with Lake of the Woods is the invasive species they have in here. I got one of these little brown buggers. I don't know what they're called, but I guess they're fun to catch. Spin and glow bass. Catch them all. Nice fish.
Watch out, Gussie. We're coming for you.
It's a well-known fact that docks are a magnet for bass and panfish, thanks to abundant shade and structure. The challenge becomes getting your lure deep underneath where the fish live. Dock skipping is a tactic developed by southern crappie anglers and is an easy way to slingshot your lure deep underneath with little practice. Start off by finding productive docks using mapping. The best ones usually have deep water nearby. Let the contours be your guide. Position yourself using the bow mount trolling motor, then talon down when you have a good lineup. Lower your body so you're in line with the target. Grab the hook by the bend to avoid hooking yourself, then load the rod and point to your target. The trick is to release the lure and your line finger at the same time. Consider flat-sided lures like the Jean LaRue Bass Shooter, which is designed for skipping docks like a stone.
Well, we're fishing out of the 2075 Pro Guide. Today's an ideal day with all the wind that we're dealing with right now. This is tiller country right now. You know, with the 200 Verado or the 9.9 Pro kicker, this gives us the capabilities of, you know, backing into the wind and really dissecting a body of water like this where we can climb up and down the shelves. We're able to, you know, get direct contact into the wind and find our fish.
Yeah, it makes a big difference with boat control. You can fish way more effectively. If we were struggling with a windshield on a boat today, we'd be getting blown into shore. We'd have to be making adjustments, turning the boat all the time. Like, look how we're just tracking here, just perfect.
And then you look at the layout that we have in here. You know, we have this whole dance floor right here to you know, to fight fish, land fish. You know, if we wanted to bring a couple more guests in the boat, we have the room for that too. It's just a nice open layout for walleye fishing on a day like today.
Staying down there.
Oh yeah, that looks good. Don't we put it in reverse here for you? It's on.
You better go on the fish side of me. I don't want them to pop up too far back.
It's coming up now, you can see it.
Ooh, that's a nice one. Chunky one. We're lucky today that's been cloudy and we got some wind. It's like nice conditions to catch these fish, and you can stay on them all day. And you can't complain when you're catching a lot of fish this size, and we've had bigger and we've had smaller, but
it's been one after another though, which has been fantastic. Yeah,
walleyes, bass. It's been a good morning so far. So we're on a little different spot now. We're sort of stitching our way across this flat. It's actually a small rocky bump on the north shore of an island. And with the kicker, we're taking advantage of the wind. The wind's pushing us in, and then we take the kicker in reverse and go back out. We're working it so that we're not covering the same path of water, so it's truly like a sewing machine, stitching back, forth, back, forth. We've been marking fish anywhere from 16 feet down to 26 feet deep, but right now all 3 of the fish we've pulled off this spot have been when we're drifting up instead of going down in reverse with the motor. So, oh, there we go.
Nice fish.
That's a nice one. Way to go, buddy.
Come on.
I'll keep the net under him for now. You got it?
Yep.
Oh, that's a nice one.
This is what it's all about right here. You know, we've been bouncing around today, trying a couple different areas. The wind's picked up, and with the wind picking up, also the big fish are starting to slide in.
That's a very nice fish. This wind has him stirred up, like you said. Right on. We're catching a lot of fish, just related to shorelines, and we haven't touched a hump all day. It's nice. We have the spots to ourselves, basically, and there's fish on them.
Yeah, that's a big thing. You know what? Midsummer walleyes, a lot of people, you know, first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna go start humping and check all the humps out. But there's so many fish that are left untouched when you're looking at these shorelines. And when you're fishing a shield like Lake of the Woods, all the rocks and boulders around these islands, there's so many spots where these fish, especially on a wind-blown day like today, they're camped out here. So it's just a matter of dragging some baits right across them, and we're gonna catch them, and that's what's happening right now.
There are just way more opportunities, if you ask me, for the fish to feed.
I don't know if we've gone 5-10 minutes without a bite. You know, the fish, they're stacked up on here. Feel good?
Feels not too bad. Dragging them, letting the hooks dig in there. Oh yeah. They just did a nice run there. Coming up there now. What are we in, neutral or reverse?
We're neutral now.
Okay, we'll know right away if he's a good one. They go nuts at the boat here. He's got a good head shakes. Ah, yeah.
Looking good, buddy.
It's a nice fish.
I see your bouncer starting to pop up.
I'm gonna lift. Ready?
There we go.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Beautiful.
Look at that one, hey? Look at this beauty, hey? You know, it's paid off for us today, just watching our electronics and changing up the angles on the fish, hitting them from different directions and forcing them sort of to bite and not pass up that bait going past their nose, eh? Yeah,
it's all boat control, and you know what, like you said, when you're going back into it, into wind, and you're controlling, following these lines here, this is what you get, a little bit of Lake of the Woods gold. Looks beautiful, great fish.
Yeah, he's a nice fish.
Well, should we make that move now then? You want to do it?
Yeah, we can come back here.
I think so. Why don't you just make a comment about it so I can get it on camera.
Let's go get a couple big ones and finish the whole show, and we'll go fun fish tomorrow. I'm under like so much pressure. Like my head's about to explode, I think. Like this Mike guy, he's just non-stop, do this, do that. And then he says I can't take any criticism. Like, what do I do with that
He's
guy?
been a real treat today, I know that.
Last time I steal him a chocolate muffin from the buffet. What thanks did I get? None. I think Rich is over there eating all the muffins. Rich! You got any muffins?
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like more information, check out lundboats.com or these other online outlets.